years. So you adults must be okay with that, because if not, it's no excuse for you to continue to say black. And just because the enemy may see you as black don't mean you have to identify that way. Because your child and your grandchild, they deserve better than that. They deserve to be judged by their character, not by their skin color. Let's all say it together. That child deserves to be judged by their character and their God-given ability. And if you don't start laying the groundwork for that, you are going to be responsible for them having to be judged by their skin color. Because each of you are playing your part. You can't point to the enemy and say, well, they see me as black, so I'm black. They see me as black, so I'm black. That's a cop-out. Because you have a brain. I have a brain. You have a brain. Your child and your grandkids have a brain. So that's not that makes no sense to keep saying that. I don't understand why you're doing it. Because we clearly know that no human being is born white. Not one single human being has ever been born white. Not one single human being has ever been born black. But you persons you're gonna have to snap out of whatever that's mentally handicapping you, whatever trauma, whatever scars, whatever mental handicap you have holding you back. Because I have some of the same things. Mine may not be identical to yours, but I have trauma, I have scars, and I have a mental handicap from being born into this sick environment. I'm not going to sit up here and try to deny it. But thank God I had a good mother who gave me a good foundation to push myself every day I get up, to push myself when I feel fear, to push myself when I fail. I don't fail unless I fail to try. She had all these different little sayings. She was famous for saying, you cannot fail unless you fail to try. So you folks gonna have to snap out of it. You're gonna have to snap out of it, and I want it to be very clear. I'm getting ready to close out here. I want it to be very clear the challenge that I have made to the Pan-Africans and the immigrants, because I'm fed up with your fake unity. I'm fed up with your fake unity, and I've been abolished the word black, so I don't even really need to spend a whole lot of energy on that one, because I abolished the term black around 2016. About around 2016 is about my best memory that I officially stamped it. I said I'm abolishing black, because I don't want to be responsible for that child that's going to be born the next hour and the next day and the next week. I don't want that on my conscience. I want to be able to go to my grave knowing that I did my little part. I abolished the word. So I'm not going to get to be blamed for helping America and the whole world try to tell me I'm black. I'm not going to be responsible for that. No, thank you. No, thank you. You carry that load by yourself. I'm not going to carry it. It don't belong to me. If you care to carry it and you care to pass it down to your children and grandkids, that's your personal choice. I don't have anything to do with that, because I can only think for one person. I'm not passing this down to my daughter. My daughter knows clearly what her mother be doing. My daughter clearly knows that her mother be constantly having these different conversations and asking her questions. I'm not going to say my daughter's name. I'd have to kind of like do a checkup on her and say, how do we identify? What is our ethnicity? I have to ask her directly because initially she thought she was African American. I had to correct that. That's my job as her mother. That's my number one job as her mother, is to make sure that my daughter understands that I birthed her and I'm a Negro. So she can't be African American because biology don't work that way. And so my daughter is a straight A student. They told her she could skip from the 10th grade right to college. She was so smart. That's how smart she was. But she got book knowledge. But she don't have as much common sense as her mother. But she knows that book stuff. She's smart as a whip. But I was not gonna let my daughter think she was African American. How is that possible when biology only works one way? If my birth certificate says Negro and she came out of my stomach, that makes her a Negro. That's simple biology. I came out of my mother's stomach and she's a Negro, so I'm a Negro. And so, these fake Pan-Africans and fake unity, if you folks really cared about Black American and Negroes and all these other Americans that go by these other identifying terms, then you would be making your submission to the OMB in support. But you're not doing that. You're not doing it. I'm going to keep on checking that. I'm going to be checking that website every day. I did my submission today. And I'm going to go back and do my submission a couple more times before the 18th of February. So I'm going to be checking that website every day and see if that number count goes up. That all you immigrants, all you persons who claim Pan-African, I'm going to see if you cause that number to go up. If you folks click on that link and make your submission in support of America recognizing the ethnicity term Negro, the ethnicity term Black American, the ethnicity term freedman, the ethnicity term, did I leave out African American? Let me start over. I want each of you Pan-Africans and immigrants from the continent, Jamaica, Haiti, the Bahamas, or wherever you're from, Europe, I want you to take a few minutes out your busy day and click on that link or send me a direct message and I'll send you the link directly. And I want you to go click that link and make your submission to the OMB and support. Say, OMB, I want to support that America recognize Negro as an ethnicity. OMB, I want you to know that I want to support that America recognize African American as an ethnicity. OMB, I want you to know that I am in support of America recognizing freedmen as an ethnicity. OMB, I want you to know with my statement that I'm submitting that I am in support of America recognizing ADOS as an ethnicity. OMB, I would like you to know that I am in support of America recognizing FBA as an ethnicity. If you can do that, you may start showing the example of unity. If you got it in you. If you have it in you, take a screenshot and send it to me. Take a screenshot before you hit that submit button. Take a screenshot of it, because I did it. I did it tonight. I took about 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different screenshots because I couldn't get the whole thing in the first screenshot. So I had to get the top part and the bottom part. So make sure you got proof. Make sure you can show proof. Yes, Lord. Make sure you can show proof. take a screenshot before you hit that submit button. I don't think you Pan-Africans and immigrants are going to do that. I don't think you're going to do that because you know how to do a lot of talking about unity, but you don't know how to show it in action. You don't know how to show proof of it. So that's what really upset me about the Ranger and the Duke of Pan-African. Well, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to have to put him on my list of my enemy. I just sent him a message yesterday, extending much love to him, even though I was responding to him using Negro in a negative light. I still didn't want to completely feel disconnected. But after witnessing that room today, it finally made me have to face the truth. I'm not gonna feel connected to anyone that is a detriment to my well-being. I'm not going to do that because I love me too much. And what I seen in that room today, not only from the Duke of Pan-African, but all the persons who come from these other nations, they care more about unity, they little fake unity, than they care about helping. They care more about their unity, they fake unity, than they do about demanding that America recognize Negroes and Black Americans and African Americans and African American. Oh, I left out a part. African American cannot be an ethnicity because you cannot have an ethnicity from two nations. That's why a German person would be a German American. Well, there'll be a German American. The folks who are descendants of slavery in America cannot be African American because they don't have a specific tribe that they belong to. They don't have a foolproof map to trace back to a specific, let's say it together, a specific tribe. That's whether it's that tribe is Ethiopian, Nigerian, South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, all these other different names that I can't think of. If a person is going to be told that they have to identify as African American, they should be able to pinpoint and point to a specific tribe that they belong to. If they cannot do that, then it's disrespectful to try to tell that person that's their ethnicity, while everybody else can specifically identify the nation they belong to. You see how that works? Is that fair? I just want to make sure I'm being fair. So for all you folks who constantly sit on Twitter land calling it persons, Negroes, and other persons who are descendants of slaves, that they are African American, you're being disrespectful. And I think a lot of you know it. And that's why you prefer that term. Because you certainly have evaluated that you're being disrespectful. Because Negro started the first 246 years in America. And you don't even acknowledge that. So I clearly can see proof of disrespect. Most of you don't say the term Negro or acknowledgement of Negro out of your mouth. You only say African American, and that's why you being fake. Again, human beings don't realize how much you do to expose your true character. Folks need to stop it. As a human being, we are constantly exposing our true character. We do it unintentionally, but we do it every single day. And so for all you fake folks who keep on saying African American is described as an individual belonging to a black racial group of Africa. That's total disrespect. Let's all say it together. Just educate ourselves. Let's all educate ourselves, because Black American and African American is describing an individual belonging to a black racial group of Africa. Now, with intelligence and common sense, you clearly know that no human being is born to a black racial group. So why would you continue to use that term unless you are intentionally trying to think you're getting away with being disrespectful? I think you're getting away with it. I'm just here to let you know, this one person, you didn't get away with it with me. I can't speak for all these other millions of persons, but I'm here to let you know, if I figured it out, there's probably thousands of other folks who have figured out the same thing. Yes, Lord. So I'm going to get ready to have to close this broadcast out. I know I'm missing quite a bit. But since I got a late start, I got to try to cut it short. But I just wanted to make it very clear, I'm very disgusted. With this fake Pan-Africanism, this fake unity, this fake we all black. Every time I hear a person say that, I think about the enemy. I do. Oh, and I left out one word. That's the one I didn't want to leave out. No, two. White supremacy and hate. Those 5 things, I think, upset me the most when I listen to different persons on these social media apps. White supremacy, hate, we all black, we all have the same enemy, African American and Pan-African. Those 6 things. And it's sad because these same folks claim that we have the same enemy, but you're using the same thing that the enemy has used to harm Negroes, descendants, and their Negro ancestors. You're using the same thing that they use. Why would you run around using the word hate to refer to anyone with brown skin? Why would you do that? That's the enemy's word. They the one that has used it as a weapon. They got hundreds of years of proof of how they have used that word as a weapon. But that individual person that you dislike, you can't say they have that same track record, but you call them hate. That's when you know a person is not being genuine. I didn't grow up using the word hate. My mother didn't use it in our household, and I didn't grow up using it myself as I got older. I would never want to use the very word that my enemy used to harm me if I'm referring to any person with brown or dark brown skin. I would never want to do that. But you folks do it constantly. You do it constantly, and you know every time you use it, your enemy is happy. That's the main reason why the Asians got a hate crime bill. That's why the Jews are going to get a hate crime bill. They're going to get a hate crime bill because of each one of you that use that word. That's why they're going to get it. But you're not going to own up to it. You're going to get on a public app and deny it. But every time they record any person who have brown or dark brown skin use the word hate, that is helping the Jews and the Asians, and now even the white people are saying they are the most hated. I don't see how you don't understand how you are harming yourself every time you use that word. But I can't think for anyone else. But I clearly know that I'm not going to use a word that my enemy used to harm me. I'm never going to do that. You're not going to be able to pay me all the money in the world to use a word that my enemy continues to use every second of the day to harm me. So why would I get on a public app because I had a disagreement or I dislike somebody? I'm going to label them as hate. That's crossing the line. But folks can't see that because of their own selfishness. Folks won't be fair. They won't evaluate it fairly and see that. No. But you're using the very terminology that your enemy used. The only collective body of persons that have harmed me are those that have the power and the money and the control to use hate. I'm going to evaluate it. I'm going to break it down that simple. If I am going to identify someone and call them hate, I'm going to say, do they meet the three criteria? Money, do they have money? They have enough money to have power, control, and power. Because money and power are one and the same. But if I cannot say that, then I should not be calling a person with brown or dark brown skin hate. And I'm never going to call anyone white supremacy over me. I'm not going to do that to my child. I'm not going to set that example. I'm not going to use that word because no one walking around on two legs is supreme to me. So I sound like a fool calling someone else white supremacy. Do I want to program my daughter to think that someone is supreme to her? No, I don't want to do that. Then if I don't want to do that, then I don't need her to hear me saying white supremacy out of my mouth, because she is listening and watching what I'm doing. If I don't want to program her in a negative way, then I cannot allow her to hear me say white supremacy out of my mouth when I'm referring to someone else, because then that's going to stick in her brain and that's going to harm her. And the other thing is, all folks are black. I've already spoke on that one. We all have the same enemy. I've already spoke on that. Unity, fake unity. I've already spoke on that. I need proof. I need proof for all you folks who have this feel good feeling about saying unity. Show me some proof. And I've named all the ways you can show me some proof. So go back and listen to the beginning of the broadcast. And then Pan-African. Pan-Africans do the most harm for the division. Because if I went to Jamaica and I wanted persons in Jamaica to accept me, I would go above and beyond to show them that I want to support what is harming them. If my 2 feet is in Jamaica and I'm going over there to start my life or live my life, when I get there, I'm going to make every effort to show those persons that they can trust me, they can build trust with me, that I want to support what is harming them. And then over time, they're going to make their own decision whether or not they can trust me. That's not being done by the immigrants that are in America. But they claim they are Pan-African. But a human being knows when someone's being fake. We each know that. You can continue to be fake, but time is out. Time has run out. I'm going to be frankly honest. Time has run out. Things are so desperate right now, folks don't have a choice but to try to make sure they secure their own family in the best position they can be in. Folks don't care about what other person. One thing I wanted to say before I left off of here, the one thing that's consistent that I can identify in my 62 years, I want each person to hear this loud and clear. One thing I can say without any confusion, the one thing that's consistent is that human beings don't care about something until it's harming them. Let me repeat it again. Human beings don't care about something until it's going to benefit them in some kind of way. Or they have to suffer through something. Folks keep crying about what's going on in Palestinian. Folks cry about what's going on in California. It's been long enough time for brown and dark brown skinned persons to come together. It's too late to cry about unity when crisis happened. The time to put in the work should have been 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago. That was the time to put in the work. With your own actions. See, I have done that. I have done that so I can speak. That's the way I was raised. I felt unity with every person when I walked out my door and my eyes saw another person with brown or dark brown skin. I didn't need my mother help with that. That's something that I felt on the inside. Anytime I had to interact with someone with brown or dark brown skin, I showed them the utmost respect. I accepted them however they presented themselves to me. I didn't never have to say unity. I didn't never once have to say unity. My actions spoke louder than words. I didn't once have to say unity out my mouth because I was checking my own actions. I was critiquing my own actions. And they spoke louder than any words that I could ever say out of my mouth. They spoke louder than any words that I could ever say out of my mouth. I can go to my grave knowing that that's the way I have lived my life. And nothing's going to change that. If I get an opportunity to unify with someone from Jamaica, Haiti, the continent, or Europe, I'm going to do it. If I evaluate that I can trust that person, that person is going to show me respect and I'm going to show them respect, then more than likely we'll be able to make that determination whether or not we trust each other's character. We'll make that evaluation. We'll check off all the boxes. And we won't have to speak it because our actions will show it. Neither one of us will have to speak it because our actions will show it. So you fake Pan-Africans can stop it because you're out of time. Things are so in crisis mode right now. Every word that's coming out of your mouth is falling on deaf ears. Because folks had time to do this. Folks had time since 1960 to work on getting this done. And they chose not to do it. For whatever reason. From the very moment that I came a part of this madness, the main thing that I was preaching was gather that number count, get organized. Gather that number count and get organized. That's the first thing that came to my mind the second week that I was on Clubhouse. The very second week. And I haven't changed from preaching that since that second week on Clubhouse when I downloaded Clubhouse on the 5th of January, 2022. The 5th of January, 2022. The same thing that I was taught growing up. I'm applying the same thing that I was taught growing up with my sisters and brothers and persons in my community. We had to build trust with each other. We had to build respect. When I had exchanges with my brothers and sisters, we had to learn how to respect each other. We had to learn how to trust each other. When I went out into the community, I had to build trust with that person. I had to show respect and demand respect. It's no different than today. But human beings want to skip over that. They simply want to brush it to the side and think it's going to magically disappear. No, it's not. It's going to always be smack dab in your face every second of the day. You ain't going to be able to skate around it. It's going to be smack dab in your face every second of the day. And folks not going to be fooled by your fake pretenses. They're not going to be fooled by it. Some people will. Some persons will be fooled. But the majority of folks respond to showing proof with action. That's human nature. Majority of society give a response when they can see proof of action. Proof of action. If you cannot show proof of action, then you might as well not even open your mouth and say anything. I mean, it's downright pitiful. It's downright shameful. And so I'm going to land with that. And I want to thank you, good folks, for coming in for the broadcast. I'm going to leave the room up for a little while before I close it out, and I think I'm going to put my pre-recordings back on later on tonight, so I don't have to let the room run alive through the night. So, but I may let it stay up. Now that I think about it, I have enough hours to let it run through the night. Because sometimes I run over my allotted hours that they give you each month. They give you a certain number of hours. I think I get like 50 hours per month. If I don't delete the recordings, then I'll run over that time. So I just need to make sure I have enough to make it through the night, and I think I do. Okay, so because I didn't start this room until about noontime. So noon to, let me see here. Yep, I should make it till morning. And so I'm going to get ready to close out, folks. Thank you for popping in again for the broadcast. Thank you kindly. Hope and pray that all of us are safe and out of harm's way. Keep safe and out of harm's way. Stay alert at all times. Look out for one another and do everything in your power to put as much protection around you as humanly possible. I trust that the Heavenly Father will make sure that each one of us live out our days the way it's meant to be. So thank you again. I'm going to turn back on my battle music. I hope folks enjoy that battle music. It gives me a momentary escape from all of this madness. And it just puts me in a pleasant, peaceful place that I can block out as much of this madness as humanly possible. But I want to say one thing that just came to me. Adults, we have to stop being fake. Our children and grandkids are watching. We have to stop being fake. Because folks clearly can identify it. Some people are going to be okay with it. And one thing I've noticed on Twitter, certain persons gather together. Be very observant of who gather with each other and what is their character like. My mother always made it very clear to me that I will be judged by the company that I keep. So I'm very guarded. I'm very, very guarded of who I associate with. It's very important and critical that each person do that. Because certain people, by human nature, we gravitate to each other based on what we have in common. Something in our character causes us to gravitate to each other. So I would make the suggestion that all of us do our little part to see who gathers together. What is those individual persons who are gathering together, what is their character like? Is it consistent? Do they come across as honest? Are they unbiased? Just go through the whole test. Because we are setting the example for our kids and our grandkids and young people that are in the audience. On any given day, no telling how many young persons who have not reached the age of 18 or 25 that may be listening. And each one of us had a responsibility to set the right example. We have that responsibility, and we are not doing a good job. let's just be honest, we are not doing a good job, because every time I pop into a room, I wonder how many young persons are listening. From the very moment that I started using these audio apps, that's the one main thing that stuck to my mind. How many young persons are listening to us adults who need to be setting the right example? How many young persons are listening? I spend my time watching who gathers together. That's what I do. When I go do my intel, I observe who agrees with each other and who back up each other, who support each other on different things that are being said. I do a whole thorough evaluation every time I'm listening to someone. Every single second that I'm listening to them, I'm doing my evaluation. And when I pop into these rooms anonymously, I observe who congregate together, who are on each side. What is it about their character that are similar? I'm going through the whole laundry list of evaluation, because my mother warned me, I will be judged by the company that I keep. Aquilin, you're going to always be judged by the company you keep. And so I took that to heart. And so I grew up, and I remember I had to cut my friends loose that I grew up with in the 10th grade. I had to say goodbye. I still think about that day every single day of my life. That was a hard thing to do. But I loved my mother more than I loved those friends that we were helping each other go down the wrong path. So I sat down and had a conversation with myself. I said, Aquilin, do you love what your mother is trying to teach you more than you love hanging out with your friends who are not making good choices? And you are not making good choices with them. And so once I came to my decision, I sat my friends down and we talked about it, and I explained to them that we had to part ways. We didn't get angry with each other. We didn't call each other names. We didn't have a fight. We just parted ways. We just simply parted ways, and there was nothing else said about it. I think about each of those persons every single day of my life since that happened. But I'm still thankful that I was able to make the right decision. I don't regret the decision that I made, because my mother gave me the right information to help me make that decision. So I thank my mother for that, because what she taught me really helped me avoid a lot of pitfalls. She said, just keep in mind, you are always going to be judged by the company you keep. So I never forgot it. From the time she must have sat me down long before I got to junior high school or high school and explained that to me. And I just never forgot it. And it served me well. It really did. It has always served me well. It was kind of like a protective shield around me, that I could make better choices if I made my evaluation correctly. Then I will hopefully be not putting myself or associating with individuals that don't have the same character standard that I set for myself. I set a very, very high character standard for myself. I'm not here to say that I want anybody to be like me. My job is to accept that person however they choose to present themselves to me. But at the same time, it's my job to evaluate, what do we have in common with each other? That's also my responsibility if I care about my own personal well-being. I have to be able to make an evaluation over a period of time. What similarities do we have in our character and how we move in life? Once I make that fair evaluation, then I'm going to make my decision, because that's my job. It's my number one job to take care of my well-being and keep it safe. if I don't do that evaluation fairly, I'm not going to do a good job of keeping myself safe and out of harm's way. So I make that suggestion to all you good folks. Decide to do with it what you want. But someone gave me that advice, and I like to pass it on. A lot of good folks. My mother made me understand that first and foremost, but I met so many other persons over my lifetime that have shared that same sentiment. So I would like to pass it on to the next person because it served me well. Folks can do with it what they want. Thank you again. Thank you again. Thank you, Kylie. I hope and pray that we can all keep safe and out of harm's way. Have a good night. Take care.